Hi, I'm Jane Richardson, International Lead Makeup Stylist for NARS Cosmetics. I'm here today to recreate the very simple but very beautiful look that we created for Creatures of the Wind. The first step is the skin. It's really important to hydrate the skin so that the complexion products, I'm just applying the primer. This is the Multi Protect Primer SPF, all over the face. This helps to keep the look fresh all day long. Next, we're applying the Radiant Cream Compact Foundation. Just apply the foundation to mainly the central part of the face. This gives you a much more of a modern, more natural finish to the skin. Using my fingers just to press it in to the skin. We want the skin to look as natural as possible. The great thing about using a product with your fingers is that it's very quick. When working around the eye area, just make sure that you prep the area with your eye cream to allow the skin to not be so hydrated and the products look a little bit just around the cheek area. Make sure you blend around the nose. And again, just working it in and just blend down the sides of the face. We don't really need the makeup to go right the way towards the edge. So next we're using the cream concealers. These are great for concealing blemishes, but giving a more satin matte finish to the skin. You can either use one or just mix. And again, just using your fingers, just pat in to take away any discoloration. Remember to work very lightly. You don't want to end up with too heavy a look and feel underneath the skin. Sometimes if you get a little bit of redness around the lip area, you can just use a little bit of the concealer there. Sometimes we get a little bit red around the brow area. If you have any blemishes and you feel you're better off with a brush, by all means, you can use the product with a more pointy brush to apply directly on any of the blemishes. So next I'm just going to apply the smudge proof eyeshadow base. This is great at not only intensifying the colour on the eyes and keeping the makeup fresh all day long. This is the light reflecting powder and I'm just going to use it before I continue just to set underneath the eyes. With the concealer it will always go into the little lines, just to get rid of those before the powder. And I use a brush just to really allow me to get right to the lash line. Our model has the skin is a little dry, but if you have a little bit more oily skin, then the best way to actually set is by pressing the powder into the skin in a rock and roll action. So once the skin is prepared, we can start on the actual colour, and simply it's all about the eyes and the lips. And we're using a large dome brush. This is the actual new brush, this is number 42. And we're using this beautiful colour here. This is called Iceland. They're duos and they will either bring a metallic finish to any eyeshadow that you have or can simply be used to illuminate the eye area. And we're going to use this lovely green base colour here. I'm using a large dome brush just so that you, especially if you're new to the products, you're not applying too much. You don't want it to be too metallic and too shiny. So I want the main intensity to be in the centre of the eye, and then you can just blend. Allow the eyeshadow base to just pull the colour towards it. So next I'm just changing brushes. This is the smudge brush. And I'm just picking up exactly the same colour and we're running it underneath the eye. So next we're going to curl the lashes, and this helps to really open the eye out, especially if you've done a very minimal, very simple makeup. We're just going to finish the eye look with an application of the lengthening mascara. This is a beautiful nylon wand, so it really helps to separate the lashes. You don't want to apply too much. So I'm just taking the end mascara off there. So I actually want it to be as natural as possible and put too much product onto the lashes. So I like to just brush through the brows, depending on how you've applied your foundation. It's always good to just make sure. I'm just going to put a clear brow gel. This is called Oral, just to give a little bit of a gloss. So now we come to the lips. And one of the biggest trends this season is for this beautiful bright orange lip. I'm going to use a very classic NARS lipstick. This is the very beautiful Heat Wave. Then I'm also going to use Red Square, which is a velvet matte lip pencil. So you can just see it's slightly different textures, but sometimes women prefer to have a more classic lipstick and classic application. But if you do prefer to use a little more of a pencil format, then you can use the velvet matte. But I'm just going to mix a little bit of the two together. I'm just going to apply it with the brush first. And if you're not used to wearing such a bold lip, it might be worth doing it this way by using the brush and then just buffing out so it has a softer effect as it goes to the outer side of the lip. So simply just build the colour to the intensity that you're comfortable with. But I have to say, the bolder you are with your lipstick, the more beautiful and more modern the effect.